Thanks for your company this afternoon. A growing majority of Australians want home prices to fall, according to a new poll. Even investors agreeing that prices are out of control. Joining us on the debrief this afternoon, Madeline Larson from Triple M in Brisbane and Ben O'Shea from the Nightly in Perth. Good afternoon to both of you. Maddie, let's start with you. It's tough for young people to get into the housing market, but do their parents, let's say, who own this huge asset, actually want prices to fall?
And the grass is green, I say to this survey that's vindicating my thoughts. Yeah, you know what? I am seeing this massive divide as someone who isn't a homeowner, but whose parents have friends and family that own some 20 houses, while me and my siblings have none. I think that this survey is really telling the fact that 61% of people want to see house prices go down, and it's not just voters from one party, it's across Labor, Coalition, One Nation, the Greens and undecided voters all agreeing that they want to see house prices go down. I mean, if you're trying to get your foot in the door, that makes sense, but I can't come from it from the point of view of an owner. I suppose they're just wanting to see young people finally get their foot in the door.
Ben, is this a situation where people kind of cop a bit of a loss knowing that they're not going to sell maybe for 5 or 10 years, but know that the prices are going to grow in the long run?
Yeah, well, I think that's what the property market has shown us time and time again. But I think there's a limit to how much of a haircut I think homeowners are willing to cop on the value of their houses. I think if you remove the property barons, the investors out of this conversation and talk about the majority of mortgage holders, their families, and their biggest asset is their home. And so, sure, 5, 6, 7% drop in house prices is fine. But if it gets any more than that, they owe a ton of money to the bank. And especially if they've bought at the top of the market, all of a sudden their financial situation is looking a lot less healthy if their house price goes down too much. But I think everybody agrees it's gotten a little bit out of control. So reset the market, cool it off, and hopefully gives first home buyers a chance to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, if you've managed to buy in the last 12 months, negative equity sounds pretty scary. Hey, moving on, cricket fans are calling for Advance Australia Fair to be sung at the Big Bash final on Australia Day next year, with Australia's first Indigenous Olympic gold medalist, Nova Peris, also saying singing the anthem would be a uniting gesture. There have been cultural sensitivities around Australia Day for a long time, and then it's starting to get that way with the anthem a little bit. Ben, is this going too far, or the anthem is the national anthem? I mean, we can't get rid of it at the moment.
Hugh, you make a good point. Like, it is no secret that there are some issues around this particular date, but Cricket Australia has put the BBL final on this date to maximise the audience potential, but then it seems like they want to have it both ways by not playing the national anthem at the event, as if that will make some of those difficult conversations go away. It's ridiculous. It's like Shane Warne's iconic leg break to Mike Gadding in 1993 that made Mike Gadding look like he didn't know how to play cricket. Cricket Australia have bowled that delivery to themselves and just bowled themselves out, played all around it, and it's a mess.
Maddie, do you think they're going to be damned if they do, damned if they don't?
I mean, we've seen this before. Several years ago, the test at the Gabba fell on Australia Day. And at first it was agreed that the ground announcer wouldn't acknowledge Australia Day at the start of the day. Then after protest, they backflipped on it. So I think at the end of the day, it's a debate that's going to happen on any event that's happening on this day. But as Ben just mentioned, it is a day that brings in a lot of Aussies to sporting action. I think as well what we've seen people talk about is the need to try and find a way through this divide, because it's a day that we want to come together, especially before we have the Brisbane Olympics up here in 2032. We need to sort out the national anthem, the flag, and even the Australia Day debate, because it's not something that we want to be divided on. We want to enjoy each other and enjoy ourselves on days like this.
Yeah, we seem to come together around the Socceroos the last couple of weeks, so that's a good thing at least. Finally, Odyssey director Christopher Nolan has said fears that AI will replace actors and technicians in the movie industry are, quote, nonsense, as young people in particular push back on what they call AI slop. Maddie, do you think he's right here? Do you think people will always have respect and want to watch a film that is actually made by real people, featuring real people?
I mean, we were just talking about how great the cricket is, right? Would you watch the cricket if it was just AI bots? No, I don't think so, because we love human skill. And I think Hollywood is an example of that, the creative industry. We're impressed by those old school cartoons that were hand drawn. Like The Little Mermaid is a classic example of that. And I think AI isn't something to be ignored. It needs to be, used to an advantage, but not to the extent that we're losing jobs. And I know that he noted that he doesn't think jobs will be taken, but we're already seeing that. 6,700 people lost their job in Hollywood just this year alone, largely due to AI. So I think it's about working alongside it. But yeah, I think a lot of people, especially young people, don't want to watch what's been dubbed AI slop.
Ben, do you feel like there is pushback now against AI being used in creative industries?
Oh, absolutely. And look, no surprise from Christopher Nolan. The dude doesn't have a smartphone. He doesn't even have an email address. So he's a technophobe. Meanwhile, you've got a legend like Martin Scorsese, who took a huge bucket of cash from an AI company to spruik the idea and the benefits that could come from it. But I think the product is just not there. As Nolan says, young people are pushing against it, and I think the creative industry is going to have a real reckoning about how they approach it. But at the end of the day, if the bean counters see a way to make a profit, it tells me that maybe generative AI is not going anywhere.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, not known for making cheap films. So
no.
Go. Hey, Maddie, Ben, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks you.
Thanks you.